Welcome everyone to Catherine's Plates, where it's always simple, easy, and delicious. It is so good to see you here today. I know y'all are looking for a classic dessert, cool, refreshing, sweet, and salty. This one has it all. 3 layers of goodness. We've got a pretzel crust, we've got a cream cheese layer, and then we've got that strawberry jello layer. Oh, who could ask for anything else, right? If you got potluck, got holidays coming up, how about summer, which is right around the corner, cool and refreshing. Okay, enough of this. Let's go ahead and start putting this one together. Okay, we are going to start making the crust. Now, I've got a lot of pretzels in here. You want to make about 2.5 cups of pretzel crumbs. Okay, so we're going to pulse these, break these down into tiny little pieces. We're going to measure out 2.5 cups. Now, if you don't have a food processor, you can certainly put these in a Ziploc bag and take a rolling pin and roll over them a lot of times until they break up and become crumbs. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and I'm going to pulse these just in my food processor here. And then we're going to measure them out and get 2.5 cups. Now when you pulse these and break these up, make sure that there's still some pretzel pieces, okay? You don't want a fine crumb. Now a lot of the crumbs is fine because that butter will hold it together and it will make a nice crust. All right, we're gonna measure this out. Okay, that's perfect. We still got those bites of pretzel in there, and then we got the crumbs also. All right, got my butter and I got my sugar. 3 tablespoons of sugar I'm just gonna pour in here. And you use my fork and just kind of stir this together. I'm going to add my 3/4 cup of melted butter. All right, we're going to stir this until it's all coated. All the crumbs are coated. What I like to do is take some cooking spray and just lightly spray the bottom of our dish here. Now what that will do is keep that crust from sticking to the bottom of our dish and make it really hard to scoop our squares of dessert out of here. So now that I've sprayed this, we're going to go ahead, place our pretzel mixture in. And then what you want to do is press firmly to get a nice crust on the bottom. We want it nice and firm, nice and even too. That way it all will hold together. All right, we are going to place this in our oven that's been preheating at 350 degrees for 8 minutes, not a minute longer. Make sure you pull that out of the oven in the 8-minute mark. All right, I'm going to be back. Okay, I've pulled my crust out of the oven. I'm going to lay it on a cooling rack here and allow this to rest until it is completely cooled. Okay, now that our crust is out of the oven and it is cooling down, it takes about 30 minutes for that to happen. What we're going to do is go ahead and make that jello layer. So I'm just using a large measuring cup or a medium bowl, anything that will hold about 4 cups of liquid. Now, I'm using some strawberry jello gelatin. You need 6 ounces. So that's either 2 of the small boxes or 1 of the large boxes here. Just make sure it's got 6 ounces total. I'm going to add this to my bowl. All right, I've got a 2-cup measuring cup and I'm going to add water. This is hot water. I brought it to a boil. Using a whisk or a fork, what you want to do is add your 2 cups of hot water into your gelatin here and stir for 2 minutes. That will help get that gelatin all nice and dissolved. Okay, what we're going to do now is add 1 cup of room temperature water. And then we're just going to stir that up for about 30 seconds. Okay, we're going to go ahead now and set this over by our crust and let it kind of soft form while the crust is cooling. Okay, so the crust is ready. What we're going to do now is make that cream cheese layer. Now I've got 2 blocks of cream cheese that I've brought to room temperature. I'm going to place these into a large bowl. You want these really soft. And we're just going to use an electric hand mixer. And I'm going to beat this for just about 1 minute just to kind of get it going. And then when I get to that point, I'm going to add in slowly 1 cup of powdered sugar. To our cream cheese mixture here, what we're going to add is 8 ounces of Cool Whip or a whipped topping. Now I have a whipped topping here and I'm just going to show you really quick how I put this together. It was just 8 ounces of heavy whipping cream and a 1/4 cup of powdered sugar. Now I add that powdered sugar because it acts as a stabilizer to the heavy whipping cream. It makes it more shelf stable so that your dessert can sit in the refrigerator longer than 1 day. Now if you were to put it in, if you were just to whip up the heavy whipping cream without that sugar in there, then your dessert will last about 1 day because it'll start becoming runny. So add that powdered sugar to make it more stable. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and add the 8 ounces here into my cream cheese mixture. And then what we're going to do, just using a spatula, we're going to fold that into our cream cheese. You just want to pull from the bottom and kind of bring it halfway through the cream cheese mixture. And just keep doing that until the cream cheese is all mixed into the Cool Whip or whipped topping. You don't want to have any streaks. Now we're folding it in because we don't want to lose a lot of that air. That way it'll hold up really well in our dessert. All right, let's go ahead now and get our strawberries ready. Now I've cleaned these strawberries here, and what I'm going to do is slice them. Now you can slice them, dice them, whatever you want to do. All right, all nice and sliced up here. All right, it's time to build our strawberry pretzel salad up. Got my crust here that's been nice and cooled. What we're going to do, I'm going to take my cream cheese Cool Whip mixture here and dollop it all over the pretzels. Now you want to make sure that you dollop it all over. It'll make spreading so much easier. Now the trick to this is to make sure that when you're spreading your mixture, you go all the way up to the edges of our dish here. We don't want to see between the dish and the pretzels, okay? We want it all filled in. So I'm just using my offset spatula here. And you want a nice seal. There's an important reason why you want that. Now this is why I like to do the 2 packages of cream cheese versus the 1. It makes a thick layer and it'll hold that jello layer. Make sure it's nice and smooth on the top. I love offset spatulas. They really do a good job in spreading your frostings. Now just make sure you look around the edges here. Make sure you can't see, because if you can see, then that jello is going to go right through it and it's going to make your crust on the bottom soggy, and we don't want that. So make sure there's no gaps. I'm going to bring my strawberries over here. Now what I like to do first off is place my strawberries on first before I add the jello. That way they're evenly placed wherever you want them. Okay, here goes the fun part. I'm going to bring the jello over here. I'm going to show you how I'm going to get the jello on here without splashing and making holes into our cream cheese filling there. Okay, so I got my jello here. Now this trick I learned from my mom. If you take a spoon and you hold it upside down, and then you're going to pour your jello over the spoon, and it'll disperse the jello away from making holes into your cream cheese thing there, see? And then just move it around. All right. Okay, now that you can see this right here, okay, there's our pretzel layer, there's our cream cheese layer, and then there's our jello layer. And you can see that those are layers now. That jello didn't seep down into our pretzel layer. Okay, I'm ready to place this in my refrigerator for 4 to 6 hours so that jello can set. Now, you can even leave this in overnight if you want to do that also. Okay, it's been 5 hours. Look at this thing. Oh, it's nice and set, nice and firm. See those layers? We've got that pretzel crust, the cream cheese mixture, and then we got the jello right here. You see, I am like holding this almost sideways and it is set. All right, I'm gonna get a knife. We're gonna cut into this thing so I can give it a try for you. Look at that. Who's ready for a bite? I am so ready for the first bite. Pretzel, cream cheese, and jello. Okay, you saw how easy that was to make. It just takes some time to set up. That's sweet and salty and that creaminess. Oh my gosh. All right, who's making this one? Make sure y'all give me a thumbs up. Make sure if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, go ahead and press that subscribe button and that bell notification so you'll know when shows like this one here are posted. You can find me on Facebook and my recipe blog, www.catherinesplates.com. All right, this was really putting a smile on my face. Guys, I will see you on my next episode.